You ever wanted to be a cowboy in a wuxia setting where your friends can be kung fu heroes and you can run around with two six-shooters? Well, I've got a game for you. It's called Jadepunk. Jadepunk is a fate accelerated game, and it's actually pretty fun. Systemically, it uses the fate accelerated system, which is debatable. It's actually pretty lightweight. It's all RP, pretty much governs everything about the system. So if your group sucks at RP, well, you're gonna have to teach them. Otherwise, you're really gonna need to find another game because it's gonna be painful. Aside from that, it's actually pretty easy. Just rank things. You got some threes and some twos and some fours and some ones and some nuns, and yeah, and then you just get started. Super simple. Problem with that system is it's so simple. There's pretty much no scaling, and by that I mean that your power level goes from like 1 to 3, as opposed to something like Dungeons and Dragons, which goes from like 1 to 10. So if you're gonna play it long term, you're really gonna have to get used to what you have because systemically you're not gonna gain anything, which I'm not a huge fan of. But that doesn't mean the game's not fun because then we turn it all around and we go back to its setting, and the setting is phenomenal. Imagine kind of like a weird steampunky Shanghai in about the 1920s, I would say. You know, you've got your Chinese, you've got your Japanese, you've got your English, and because we're all inclusive, we have your Arab nation influencing Shanghai, pretty much in a steampunk setting. But actually, all of these elements come to kind of together to work. And this setting actually sits in what's called Kaosao City, which is a giant sprawling steampunk, metropolis built on trade and dealing in jade. Because yes, jade plays a massive element in the game called Jadepunk. Shocking, I know. Anyway, pretty much the world is built on 5 types of jade. You get your green, earthy, heavy, durable. You've got your red jade, which is your explosions, which is how you make guns work. You've got your blue jade, which is water and healing and fluidity. Something like that. It's kind of weird. Blue is when it gets really weird. Then we've got white, flight, air, cool stuff like that. And then black, which black is the rarest of them all and the weirdest of them all, between both prophecy and dealing in what seems to be strange necromancy. That is what Kaosao City is built on. Black jade. And it's kind of influenced why all the great powers of the world have decided to descend upon this one itty-bitty city that no one gave a shit about for like 20 years or more. Pretty much abandoned the city. And people found Black Jade and everyone's like, oh, I gotta go back to Kaosao City. And war ensued and then peace ensued. And now we're sitting in a uber corrupt, massively bureaucratic city called Kaosao. And that's where pretty much most of the game takes place, is in this sprawling metropolis. And the creators actually did a pretty good job because they also detailed everything else. They detailed not everything, but they detailed a lot outside of it. And there looks to be plans to detail more of the world outside of Kaosao City, so it's actually a full-fledged setting instead of just one fucking city, which is really cool because they make references all over about, this village and that city, and there's a floating city pretty much built, it seems, on white jade, so it floats around its empire, which is super cool. And so actually the setting, despite the system kind of being lackluster in depth and complexity, the setting actually is super in-depth, or at least it plans to be. It currently isn't. I want to say there's the core book, which is like 130 pages, and each source book is like 16 so far, and there's 6 of them, because there's also one about the martial arts, which actually is super cool, and I'll detail in another video. But to top all of this off, they actually have some amazing art, which you can see right here. This is one of my favorite pieces, and aside from that, The art is throughout on that level. Some of it's really Chinese, some of it's weirdly Japanese, and some of it I don't even understand. I just think it looks cool. And that's A-okay in my book. As long as it's all evocative, I'm on board. I don't care if it looks like it's something I want to play in. As long as the art sparks my imagination, that's what matters. And overall, this game's actually pretty fun. I'd give it 4 out of 5, mainly because I really, really like WuXia, and I think the idea of running around with 6 shooters in a WuXia setting is also really cool. So, I recommend you go check it out, and look it up, play it, buy it, and do it in whatever order you can. And also, I recommend you go click on another video and educate yourself about something else you don't know.